This is going to be an absolute banger.
Where the fuck is Mario Judah?
I will fight all night. No one can stop me. 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 What I want, I will take. What I have, I will keep. What I see, I will break. Your soul now belongs to me. Prepare to cry because your life is mine. Don't you dare think to go run and hide. Prepare to die because you're out of time. There is no help located inside. No one can stop me. 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 No one can stop me.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your guy Jordan Live. Thank you very much for watching another Jordan Live banger. Salute to everybody in the building. Man, it's 2021 just a 2020 sequel? I'll repeat that again. Is 2021 just a 2020 sequel? Man, this time last year, man, if you walked into a store with a mask, you'd be looked at like you was crazy. One of the greatest basketball players ever lived was still living. So much has changed in just a year. A lot of people realized that 2020 was such a bad year. They was just ready for it to go, right? We're done with 2020. Boom. Done. Completely understandable. But then you think about it, we was hoping that 2021 was going to be a better year. Is it really shaping up to be worse than the last year? Because that's what it seems like it's doing right now. And I just want to know from everybody, are y'all expecting 2021 to be better than 2020? Because here's the thing, right? We know that we're going to be wearing masks well into this year. Things are not going to be open. Kids are still going to be using laptops to do their schoolwork. So I feel like we prepared ourselves in 2020 for what's possible to come in 2021. The problem is, and I honestly think this, right? The problem is that now that we're in 2021, we just magically thought shit was just gonna open up, things was just gonna appear and things like that. Nah, it's not necessarily the case. And now 2021 is gearing up to pretty much top 2020 in terms of shit that's already gone down already as we speak. And to be happy in 2021 really is not only to be happy within yourself, but to also have happiness around you. Let's be honest. People are having funerals outside in hospital parking lots. That's what they're doing. People is having funerals in the parking lots of hospitals. So there's already people going, man, we had travel plans in 2020. Now it looks like the travel plans in 2021 is going to be fucked up. And it's a situation where you knew that 2021 was not going to be magical. We knew that it wasn't just going to automatically, boom, coronavirus would be gone. Boom. Uh, everything. Pretty Ice T in the building. Salute, T. Salute, salute. Thank you very much for joining in. I appreciate it. I'm just ranting and raving. Is 2021 just a 2020 sequel? I'm just ranting and raving because that's what it's gearing up to be right now. I went into this year. I'm not gonna lie. I did go into this year thinking, you know what, 2020 was a year that cannot be topped, and then already insurrection, insurrection already. And I have to be honest in what I speak about, what I talk about, how I go about things. And I'm hoping for a better year. I'm praying for a better year. But you know what? It's looking like it's gonna be 2020 time. The sequel is gonna be times two. And now I have to think, man, like all the travel plans I wanted to go to. I wanted to hit Florida, California. I wanted to see my family up north, Pennsylvania, New York. I wanted to like, and now I'm looking at it like, man, that's not going down. I'm scared to go to New York now. I don't want to go up there. Florida, forget about it. So maybe I'm gearing myself up for a 2020 sequel. But I do know this. Again, I feel like 2020 was a year that we achieved clarity, although clarity might not have been as good or may not have been, the most positive. The one thing about 2020 is that everybody had to look at themselves in the mirror and go, am I satisfied with the person I'm looking at? That's what 2020 was about. And my beautiful missus would say that 2020 is a year of clarity. I believe that. That's a fact. We all had to look at ourselves in the mirror and go, damn, are we happy and are we satisfied with the person that we're looking at? If you slept beside somebody in the bedroom, you had to look at them every single day, all day in lockdown, and you had to go, am I happy with this person? 2020 made business owners. They were entrepreneurs that came out of 2020. People made more money in 2020 than they did in previous years. It wasn't all bad. Clarity was achieved. But now is 20 did that prepare us for the year that's to come? Because let's be honest, things are not opening up automatically. They're not. We still have theaters that's going to be closed. Concerts, forget about it. I wouldn't even feel comfortable in a concert. Forget about a basketball game. Shit, I thought I was going to be in. I thought Charlotte was going to be the spot this year. I thought Charlotte was going to be the spot. Yeah, Charlotte's the spot. Charlotte's the fucking hot spot. No, thank you. So I rant and I rave, and I just asked the question: is 2021 a sequel to 2020? Now, again, not every sequel's bad. There's the Godfather sequel. There's the Die Hard sequel. There's the Avengers sequel. So not all sequels are good. I mean, are bad. But 9 times out of 10, yeah, the sequels are worse than the original. 9 times out of 10. The sequel is just worse than the original. So now the question is that are you prepared? Are you prepared for the year to come? I'm trying my hardest. Hold on, let me put myself on the camera. Hold on. Because I have to be honest. I have to be real with you. I have to be honest. To prepare yourself to 2021 was to, again, look at yourself in the mirror. You had to be happy with yourself, not only spiritually, physically, emotionally. Your aura around you had to be good. Everything about your surrounding had to be, in my opinion, positive or at least somewhat reflective. That's what it had to be. Unless you was the type of person where you just had it in your bank account, you could just stay at home all day or whatnot or whatever. The people who felt the effects, I feel like, were the social rats. It were the ones who went to the bars every weekend. It was the ones who went to the movie theater just because it was therapeutic for them. It was the people who had to be around other people in order to feel like, themselves. Social rats. And then when that's taken away from you and you're in lockdown, now what are you to do? All you can do is kind of look at yourself, kind of like I'm looking at myself in the camera, even though I'm looking at y'all in the camera. You get what I'm trying to say. So I have to ask, and there's 4 people in here. Thank you very much. Please hit the like if you haven't. If you're watching right now or you're watching on the rebroadcast, please do me a favor and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. What do you want to see come out of the new year? I try not to get political, man. I talked politics the other day and it was fucking exhausting. Man, let me tell you something. When I came on here, right? When I first came on here, when I first came on YouTube, I thought that I was going to do the politics things. Forget about the fight videos. I thought I was going to do the politics things. Politics is just so exhausting, man. It's so exhausting. Hey, what up? What's going on, man? Man in the building. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Nigga, we lit, man. Come on, man. For real, for real. Salute, salute. Thank you very much, man, for joining in, man. I appreciate it. Salute to you. Salute to your fam. Salute to everybody, man. I appreciate everybody. I have to ask y'all, though, is 2021 gearing up to be like the sequel almost to 2020? Do you feel like that this is going to be the year that we had clarity last year, but do you feel like we're going to gain it more? Man, listen, that whole thing that happened, MC the Shiznit in the building, salute, salute. That whole thing that happened at the Capitol, man, that shit was absolutely nuts. And if you check out my last video, I spoke about it for like 30 minutes because I just had to talk about it. I just had to get it off my chest. I was like, I gotta have the conversation. But that shit, that was also, I feel like, another moment of clarity. Because if you're not a person of color, you had to look at that situation and go, damn, we've seen what happened when the Black Lives Matter movement protested in Washington, D.C. They were met at tear gas. They were met with tear gas just so the president can take a picture at a church. And then we see what the FBI is estimating to be over 2,000 people that stormed that Capitol building. 2,000 people. You had to go, there's a reason why 2,000 people was allowed to be was able to breach the Capitol building in the middle of a ceremony that we've had in our country for well over 100 years in certifying the election. We've had this tradition for well over 100 years. They talked about when they protested in Minneapolis for George Floyd, rest in peace, when he was killed. And they made the biggest fucking deal in the world about the Target being burnt down. They made the biggest deal about the Target being burnt down. They were not out there with the purpose of burning down a Target. A few people in that group did it, but the purpose of them being out there was not to burn shit. The absolute purpose for what we saw last week was to disrupt what was going on in that Capitol building. To a certain extent, they succeeded because the plan was to disrupt. And they did that for a couple hours. They disrupted what happened for a couple hours. They didn't stop it, but they disrupted it. See, that's the thing that people have to understand as far as the double standard there. Because when shit happens, when we march, when there's a black man killed by a cop, and we're marching for that reason, and we're protesting for that reason, when shit happens, when buildings are burnt, when stores are looting or stolen or whatever the fuck, when that happens, that's not the purpose of them being out there. But the purpose of them being out there last week, because they came from that Trump rally, which was named Save America. That was the name of it. It was the Save America rally. Boss MC salute. Yeah, man. It was the Save America rally was the name of the rally that they came from. They said, we're going to march Pennsylvania Avenue. We're going to tell them what's happening, how we feel and whatnot. And they did it. They disrupted whatever ceremony, whatever service they had. They disrupted it to the point where some chick had to catch a hot one in the neck. Educational purposes, YouTube. I don't mean to laugh, man, because, that was an unarmed woman who, who got shot in that whole thing. So I don't want to make a mockery or a joke of it. But Jesus Christ, son, you was fucking, you trespass on a federal building, and it tells you, it will tell you when you walk in the building that there are certain spots in that building. Excuse me, there's certain spots in that building. If you trespass, if you're not supposed to be in this motherfucking area, we can shoot you down. The cop that shot that woman knew that if she got through, the rest of the people who was behind her, which was about going on maybe over 50 people at the time, would have rushed in where the senators were at. Where the senators were at. So, again, I don't mean to get political with it. I think I got a little political with it. But I say that just because, again, it seems like, we are entering another year where clarity is going to be held. Where clarity is going to be held. Again, 2020 was a year where you had to look, it forced you, lockdown, quarantine, however you want to categorize it, it forced you to look in the mirror, and it forced you to go, do I like the person I'm looking at? If you're sleeping in the bed with somebody or you're sharing a household with somebody, it forced you to go, am I happy, truly happy with the person I'm sharing a house with? That's the clarity I feel like, in my opinion, 2020 achieved. What is 2021 going to achieve? We're already seeing clarity in the fact that, in my humble opinion, this situation that happened last week is forcing clarity in the fog of, is white privilege a thing, is fading away. It's fading away, in my opinion. The idea, the so-called myth, the so-called whatever you want to call it, I feel like it's this thing that happened last week forcing people who are not of color to go, you know what? There is favoritism in this country. You know what? There are things that people who look like me can get away with that people who don't look like me just cannot get away with. And the perfect example of that is, again, you can look at what happened after the George Floyd protests, how when they stormed when they went into Washington, D.C., they had tear gas and they were met with pepper spray in the street. Forget about the Capitol steps. In the street, they were met with this. Yet these people who came from a Trump Save America rally, that was the name of it, came from this rally, was told, be proud, fight for your country, stand tall for your country. Show them what you're made of. Let your voice be heard. And they followed orders. That's what they did. They followed orders. IMP Black salute. Sadly, the facts. My man MC said it from the gate. He said there is no way it could. Forget about 2,000 people breaching that building. It couldn't have been 20 people that would have made it to the steps if they shared the same skin color as me. Had that been a Black Lives Matter movement, or just 20 random people sitting at the Capitol steps making some kind of noise, they would have been gunned down at the steps. So I say that to say that we achieve clarity in 2020. I explained that already. And now 2021, it's going to be the same thing in terms of clarity. But instead of a unity clarity, because I feel like everybody across the world last year was forced to look in the mirror, I feel like there's going to be clarity for Black people in this country, white people in this country, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Japanese Americans, Chinese Americans, all forms. I can't talk about the world because I'm not in the world. I can only speak about the country that I'm in. It's going to force clarity in all of us, in the different colors, different skin tones, different regions. We're also going to have to look at ourselves in the mirror and go, what is it about our communities that is forcing these problems and is causing these problems to be in the limelight? It has to be asked. That's what I believe that 2021 is going to provide. I guess if you think about it, this is kind of like a 2021 prediction in a sense. In a sense, I guess this is like a 2021 prediction. It's just crazy, y'all. It's just crazy. And listen, I already know YouTube is on some bullshit, man. I played a chick who, you know what I'm saying, who caught one, man. I already know YouTube's gonna be on that bullshit. Like, nah, violence. You're promoting violence. Man, listen. And this is another thing that I want to talk about too, right? I just hit the link in the chat. Anybody want to talk? I'm seeing a lot of people making a big fuss about how Trump about how Trump was taken off of Twitter and was taken off of Facebook and all the other websites he might have been involved in. And I can understand that because it sets precedent. A friend of mine who I went to school with said on his Facebook page, he said that remember that the pendulum can swing both ways. And and to that point, I can understand that. And since what he's saying is that what can be the case for one can be the case for all. If they're saying that if they can kick Trump off for saying things that people might not necessarily agree with, then let's just say they have the ability to kick you off of whatever platform you might be using to get out your, however you may do it. You might do it on Facebook Live. You might do it on Twitter. You might do it on Instagram Live. You might do it on Periscope. You might do it here on YouTube like I'm doing it. But the argument is that if they can do it to him, they can do it to you. The thing about it is that nobody here that at least as far as I go or whatnot, there's no violence involved. There's no violence involved. He put out a video saying that I go home in peace. We love you. Can you fucking imagine? Where was this love when a man was killed of having a knee on his neck for almost 9 minutes? No love there. Unarmed woman shot in her apartment. No love there. I can go on and on and on and on and on. Told them he loved them. So you don't think that's empowering them? You don't think them people that stormed the building sitting back like, oh, Mary, get my beer. They talking about us right over there on that damn cable box. They talking about us. That's what they're doing. So it's showing you that you just gotta love your kid. You have to love the people around you. If you're of color, if you're a person of color and you have a white friend, just watch how they move around you around these times. I'd say just listen to certain things that they might say, because I think you'll be able to see the ones who get what's happening and the ones who get the frustration. Because I seen a lot of it last year with the George Floyd protests. A lot of frustration, from my white counterparts. The ones who's around you who, might try to justify what happened last week or try to get you to understand what might have happened last week. Watch out. Watch out for that. Because it's bad enough that we all have that one or two or three people that we may have, or that we know, or we know from a friend that supports Trump, or, who rock with Trump. We all know that person. And some people decided, especially early on in Trump's presidency, they decided early on that, anybody who associates with Trump, anybody who talks that MAGA shit, anybody, man, I ain't even talking with them. They blocked on social media. I ain't rocking with them. I'm done with them. You had those people that were saying that in the beginning. But now that Trump is gone, and now that, there's going to be a changing of the guard and whatnot, it's going to be very interesting to hear the same ones that was very emboldened from Trump, to see if they're still going to be emboldened now that Trump is no longer going to be in office in 6 days? 8 days. So again, this is going to be clarity for everybody. I think that's the main thing. That's why I wanted to name this. Is 2021 going to be a 2020 sequel? There was a lot of good things that happened last year. There was a lot of good things that happened in 2020. A lot of great things that happened in 2020. great things. But we had our fair share of tragedies too. Can we make it so that we can, at the very least, enjoy the lives that we're living now? I know a lot of y'all watching right now, y'all got plans that got put on hold, y'all had meetings that put on hold. Listen, I'm a weed smoker. I ain't smoking with nobody. My missus don't smoke. I'm not smoking with smoking in groups is a 2024 thing at the latest. Okay, my nigga. We're gonna have to be on like vaccine volume 7 before blunts start getting in rotations, or at least when I start being in rotation for blunts. That's how I am. That's what it is. If I don't know you too much, you're getting a pound. What's good with you? How you doing? This is 2024 at the latest. It's funny also because I had somebody watch who came and checked out my HVAC unit, and he tried to shake my hand and I was hesitant. And he was like, I understand the hesitancy. But then I responded to him. I said, yeah, I was hesitant, but you know what though? It's sad though that we live in a world where I meet somebody and usually the gentleman thing to do is to extend your hand and give a handshake, especially when business might be involved. But he put his hand out there and I'm like, and he made me understand. He made me feel like, he understood. He didn't take no offense to it. But it made me go, damn. The pleasantries have to change too with the times. You can't, you can do it, but now, especially if it's like somebody that's like not in your immediate family, it's damn near dangerous to hug somebody now. It's damn near dangerous to get a hug now. Or a pound with it, you know what I'm saying? It's dangerous. On some bullshit. So I would like to think that this year we would find a better way to go around or go about our lives and not feel so in a box, which is being in our homes. But the case numbers are not looking good. Cases are still going up, 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 up. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to persuade anybody not to do anything or to do anything, but a vaccine for me as of right now is a no-go. It's a no-go. That's another thing that we're going to revisit in like 2024. Well, again, when we're at like volume 7 with the vaccine, we'll talk about it. I'm just saying in general, clarity is going to be had. Clarity is going to be met. It's just, can you make the clarity positive? A lot of people's going to lose their homes. A lot of people's going to be cold this winter. We're going into springtime, so, the weather's going to warm up. It's going to get nicer and whatnot. We're going to have more sunnier days and whatnot. We're going into that summer. We're going to have a hot summer. The world is just getting hotter every single year. 2021 is going to hurt for some people. It's going to be painful for some people. 2021 is going to suck for some people. Are you going to be in that category, though? And if you're not going to be in that category, how can you help your fellow man or fellow woman not be in that category? I think it's time to start opening up opportunities if you can provide opportunities, because I understand you ain't getting opportunities you ain't getting nothing for somebody who ain't got nothing. Nothing of nothing is nothing. That's number one. I understand that. But if you can help your fellow man, if you can help your fellow woman, if you can get some support or you can provide some support, do that. Because again, you can make 2021 easier for somebody. You can make 2021 easier for yourself. But you can also make it easier for somebody else. T said we hardly had any sun. That's crazy. T, it's been about maybe 2.5 years, maybe 3 years since my area has had a good snowstorm. And this is usually, you know what I'm saying, my state is usually, hot summers, cold winters. It's bipolar now. It's bipolar. It's still hot summers, but the winters are warmer now. They're more warmer days now. So go ahead and get out of here, man. I just want to just say I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be back to talk to y'all. Y'all gotta see me in like another day or so. Um I've been just staying positive. I just been trying to stay positive. I've been just trying to stay happy and productive. And so far it's working. So far it's working. It's been Dad's birthday is in 2 days, so around this time, rest in power to him, around this time, it's a little tough, but you know, this year's it's better than all the other years. I'll say that. So that's just a little insight to me. Just a little insight to me. This year has been man, we're already 12 days into it, and it's already taught me a lot. It's taught me where I need to go in terms of this channel, in terms of life. So, coming on here again, I'll say it before, I'll say it again. This is therapeutic. You know, we had like 7 people in here at one time. I understand it could be so much more than that if I'm more consistent. Y'all, please forgive me. I'm gonna get that consistency up. And I know I've said that a couple times. I need to stop saying it and start doing it. So again, forgive me for my inconsistencies with this, but just know that you're not looking at a content creator who's in a bad place and is forcing himself to be on here. Because if I needed to force myself to be on here, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be on here. I just wouldn't. Thank you, T. Same here. Salute to you. Thank you very much. Salute to you. I would never come on here and try to force myself or just be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not feeling it, if I can't come to y'all with something constructive, I'd just rather not turn on the camera and go live. Or I'd rather just not turn on my camera and record. I'd rather just go on my shell until, you know what I'm saying? Until, things are shaking up a little bit. And then I can come to y'all with the energy that I feel like y'all need and y'all deserve. Y'all just don't need this. Y'all deserve it. Y'all could be anywhere in the world. Y'all could be watching anybody. There's some big content creators live right now. You know what I'm saying? A couple hundred people in their chats live right now as I'm going live. But there's people watching me. So y'all deserve a certain energy from me that if I feel like I can't deliver that to y'all, I'd rather just not be on here. I just go back in my shell and I'll just until, you know what I'm saying, I get shit right. And then boom, I come here and I give y'all a show and I entertain y'all. All right. Random Thoughts 25 coming soon. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Behind the Bar was in here. Pretty Eyes T, thank you very much for your support as always. MC the Shiznit, thank you. I appreciate it. Also said IMP Black. That's a new person. Salute to you. Thank you very much for your comment as well. And like I said, I'll be back. You're looking at a man who been through hell and back. Still got a little bit to give. Thank y'all, everybody, man. I appreciate it. I hope y'all have a good night. God bless you. God bless your family. I hope y'all have a safe night. Talk to y'all again later, man. Peace.